we're gonna be going live, and I am happy to have you guys here again for this week and see you and be able to share with you guys so many tips in this live stream. If you're watching live, go ahead and say hi. If you're watching the replay, just let me know. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them and I'll answer them as I go during this live. But also, if you're watching the replay, I will definitely be more than happy to come back and answer the questions. I can see them here, so I'll be looking at that if you see me looking down. Now, the topic for this training, let me just pull my notes here, is about the hard seasons in business and how we can move through them. And this is such a good topic that I like to talk about, first of all, because no matter where you are in business, whether you already have consistency in income or you are starting or you're trying to go to that next level where you're trying to grow, we there's something that we can't control, and that is how economy, how the market changes, how the different platforms that we use are evolving and changing. And it can cause frustration, right? Maybe your sales process needs to be, changing. Maybe whatever was working 2 years ago is not working now, and you need to constantly be changing. And definitely that can be something that can get tiring. And I want this live stream to give you the permission to, if you're there in that spot right now, it's okay. It's okay for it to feel heavy. It's okay for it to feel hard. And it's okay if we're not really liking the changes that we're seeing. And definitely as CEOs, we need to look at things as CEOs and really see what the next step is, what decisions we need to make. So I hope that after this training, you guys can walk away with lots of nuggets that you can go and shift your mindset from, just kind of taking in what's going on and really shifting into CEO and giving that permission for you to acknowledge where you're at, but being able to take the necessary action that you and your business needs. So that's pretty much everything that we're going to cover. And then one of the qualities that I see has been very beneficial, just not for myself, but for also for the clients, and moving through that, right? We just came out of, or we're coming out of a pandemic. There's a lot of things out there that can question, make people question the investments that they're making. And at the same time, there's a lot of need for services, your type of services that you offer. And a lot of things are changing to accommodate the change that we went through, a couple years ago with, everything that happened with the worldwide pandemic. So definitely a lot of businesses don't look the same way. And definitely I want you to I guess walk away understanding that there's no need to really panic. It's just what can move us forward and what can help us. So I'm going to talk about mindset, the strategy that you can look at, and if you already have a strategy, how you can go ahead and adjust that. And then how really stepping into CEO mindset is going to help you navigate the hard seasons in business, whether that's you're not hitting not getting the results, not hitting the goals, marketing, right? Even if you have someone that you're delegating that to, or if it's still you doing this, how that is impacting you and how you can go ahead and navigate and not really get discouraged, just keep moving on. So we're going to get to that now that I've given this context overview for you to understand what we're going to be discussing. So basically, we all, when we go into business or when we're launching a new offer or when we're launching, we're like, okay, we did all the pre-work and we want to see the results ASAP. Zero point 0.2 seconds, I tell my clients, you just did this 0.2 seconds ago. You just cannot see the results. You have to wait. And something an analogy or an illustration that I like to give my clients is basically this idea of when you are planting a when you're planting, let's say you want to plant a lemon tree, right? You have to go get the seed. You have to find out what type of seed, right? And then bring it in and then prepare the soil. And after you've prepared the soil, put the seed, right? And then you need to water it, monitor it, see if you need to put more water, less water. And in that process that we're waiting for that seed to really grow roots and really solidify itself, there's a lot of trial and error, and there's a lot of learning that we're doing. And that is the same thing when it comes to businesses, new offers, new audiences that we're reaching, new platforms, whatever it is. You can take that same analogy and see that it doesn't take 2 you know, seconds for you to start seeing a lemon tree grow. It takes time. You have to wait for a specific season. So the same thing is when it comes to business. We have to do the pre-work, find out, adjust, and then really execute on what it is that we want and patiently wait, adjust, and do the things that we need to do, right? And there's a lot of, they say, I don't want to say hopeful, but definitely because we know, right? We know that we've done the pre work, we've done the research, we have done the work, and we're executing every single day the same way we would plant that tree every single day, make sure it gets enough light so that it can produce fruit in the same manner. We're doing the same thing in our business. We're right. We can compare water, the water that we would put on a tree, we can compare that to our content, to our nurturing relationships, to building our relationships, to showing up. And in time, right? All of that work that we're doing in it, or that you're doing that feels like, okay, I'm not seeing any results right now, will produce a fruit down the line. But in order for you to be able to move through that, I would call it a hard season, is because you're doing the work, you're doing everything, but you're not seeing the results, and it can be frustrating. And it's okay to feel frustrated, but at the same time understand that results take time. It's like I tell my clients when they're going to work with me, you can't expect that we're going to plan on doing X, Y, and C strategy and that in 3 months we're going to see the results, right? We have to see the market. We got to take in consideration you as a human. Things can happen, but the result, I mean, there's going to be a result no matter what. There's going to be a result. The thing is when, right? And all of this pre-work that you're doing is going to have a ripple effect, and in the end it's going to give you a result. So a lot of the things I start off with my clients is like, you need to have patience, and within the patience you have to be persistent, and you need to have self trust that what you're doing is gonna work because you're doing the work. So it's a lot of mindset work that needs to get done, and this doesn't stop just because you've hit 7 figures, 6 figures, or you hit your goals. That's gonna come up at every level, and it's going back to the basics and remembering that it's a process. But a lot of the times, in this system that we're in, it's there's there's no delay to gratification. It's like instant. You go into Google, you search, and poop, your answer's there, right? And that creates such a mindset battle, because we're just so accustomed to have everything in the tip of our hands. And when it comes to business, it's gonna take time. So let me see this note here. That would be the first thing that I wanted to share with you. It's understanding that the qualities that we need to cultivate as CEOs in the business, because that's how a CEO will look at things, right? It's understanding, okay, this is the plan that this is what we want, this is what the market is asking, this is what I know will give the market, the audience, right, what they need. And I know that in order for people to start understanding and knowing that I am the to go person, it's going to take maybe one or two variations of this, but eventually I'm going to get to the goal without a shadow of a doubt, right? But in order to get there, right, we're going to need patience, persistence, and again, self trust that it's going to work out. And just knowing that you just need to show up consistently doing the thing that you need to do, that you've set out the plan, work it, and it will get done, right? But then how do you navigate, right? Like I'll have clients be like, okay, that's great, but how do I navigate the feeling of right now that I'm not seeing the results? Simple. you know it's about shifting the way we're thinking, and not staying stuck in the fact that I'm not seeing the results. Of course you're not going to see the results, right? Maybe that's something that I might, if you're a client working with me, I'll be like, okay, we need to journal on this. Why can't you? What's the what's that coming up, right? What's like dig deeper as to why is it that you're feeling anxious? Why are you feeling maybe desperate sometimes, right? To see the result. What's going on? If you have the self trust that this is going to happen, why are we feeling that, right? And it's not a bad thing to go ahead and really look at our emotions and feelings to see what the situation is and journal about that, right? I remember that for me, it was just not trusting that it was going to happen. But if I trusted fully and I leaned into it that it was going to happen, I was okay. I was patient because at the end of the day, everything was going to hit and I was going to be okay. And sure enough, right, it happens. So it's understanding that I'm not going to see things right away. Just because in the space you'll see people celebrating their wins, that is just part of marketing, right? People want to see results and that's what's going to sell. But at the end of the day, that person had to wait to for those results to come their way. They had to do the work and they had to adjust the execution, adjust the strategy, and then execute on it. So there was a lot of things that you're not seeing, face, in that post or in that journey of that person, the back end of it that you have not seen. And we're just seeing the results of it. So understanding that in order for that person to get to six figures, multiple six figures or seven figures or beyond, it took some time, right? Maybe 6 months, a year. And within that time frame, there's a lot of work that needed to get done in the back end. Now, did they get there fast? Great. Maybe they were consistent. Maybe before that, they were spending years working on their mindset and they were able to consistently execute until the strategy worked. And it just looks like, oh, they just made it really fast, which in reality means that, yeah, they probably hit seven figures in a year. But how long before that were they trying to figure out what they wanted to do? How long before that were they doing mindset work where they were, sabotaging themselves? You see? So there's more to that success than what you're seeing. So giving yourself permission to go at your own pace and enjoying the journey. And this is something you're going to hear on every episode and every podcast episode here or whenever I'm talking to you. You just have to let go of the timeline, enjoy the process, learn because you're going to learn so much as you go, and be able to understand that, you know, your timeline is your timeline. There's no way of, it's just like a tree, right? Maybe a mango tree might grow faster than the lemon tree, and the lemon tree might grow faster than an orange tree. Everybody has a different timeline, and you just need to focus on your timeline, and nurturing your mindset, regulating your emotions around that, and being patient and committed that it's gonna happen because you're doing the work to it. It's a whole different story if you're not, right? If you're like self-sabotaging and you're not really being consistent and things like that, then there's work that needs to be done there so that we can help you keep moving along so that you can start seeing that growth that you want and hitting those goals. Because if you're not moving, if you're not taking consistent action, of course, you're not going to see the results that you're looking for. So it's important to understand and to know that your mindset when it comes to hard seasons in business are so important to take care of. And if you don't journal, if you don't really take time to really listen to your thoughts and really see what's coming up, it's just so much stored in your brain that eventually, since you're not processing it, it's going to lead to either burnout, it's going to lead to you being stuck and not really moving forward and delaying the growth that you want, right? And then you're going to look for evidence, right? It's not working. Well, if you're not being consistent, if you're not moving along, and if you're stuck in this hard time in business, right? Well, yeah, you're not going to see the results you're looking for. And you're just going to take that as evidence to yourself, like, yeah, this is not working. I'm giving up. So it's so important that, you're keeping up with your mindset, good and bad, right? Whether there's hard times in business or not. But especially when there's hard seasons in business, right? And when I mean hard seasons in business, I mean maybe, you're used to locking in clients with one or two touch points, right? And now all of a sudden it's taking you a longer time than what you're accustomed to. And that's going to create a mindset, funk in your brain, because it's like you're not used to that. And the first thing that the brain wants to do is, what's wrong with me, what am I doing wrong, instead of really taking like a step back as a CEO, right? And really assessing the situation, right? Does it make sense right now that people are taking a minute to purchase, to make investments? Yeah, it makes sense because we're seeing it across the board, right? My posts are not getting the likes or the engagement that I would like. Well, depending on what platform you are, right? What adjustments have the platforms made that's affecting? So it's going to take a minute for the platform and for us to catch up and to be able to go back, maybe to see the same performance that we have been accustomed to. So really analyzing your thoughts, right? And maybe you can't do that on your own. Sometimes it'll just take some you writing and taking a notebook out and really writing why is it that you feel the way you do and what is causing you to feel that way, right? Just like the exercise I just went through, right? My posts are not reaching, my reels are not reaching, or my posts on Facebook are not reaching. Okay, but what's going on, right? My people are not showing up, but are people looking at the video? Are they looking at the replay? Right? It's really understanding and looking at the evidence for both to really come to a conclusion and say, is it true? Or is it just me and I'm just, my stuff is coming up, right? Fear of failing, fear of success, fear of this was just a fluke. I'm not going to be able to do it again, right? So hard seasons can bring up a lot of things, right? So I had one client and she's like, I'm not really seeing people react to my post the way they were doing it before. And we looked at her. I like to take evidence and be able to reason with my clients so that they can see that first, the goal is that you are whole as a person, and that you can self-trust, in that you can make the right decision, right? And that you can find the solution to what you think may be a problem. And the whole point always is for you to build that solid self-trust in yourself, that no matter what, you can do this, right? Sometimes we need some different outside perspective to be able to kind of like take that out of our brain and be able to really see clearly what we're seeing in front of us. So with this specific client, she looked at the post and she's like, it's not working. And I'm like, are you sure that it's really not working? And she took out her post, she looked at everything, and we found that it's not working. It's just that maybe the adjustment was, the audience is telling you that they like one type of content more than the other. So it's working. So just switch. And then when she made the adjustment, she was able to see that it was working. It's just that, it's always working. It's just you need to be in tune and really just let what you're doing, the results of what you're doing, speak to you, and you really take in that and really just be like, okay, it's working. I just need to really adjust here, go out there and take the execution, instead of it's not working, and you're in that hamster wheel, and just going over and over, it's not working, and you're paralyzed and you're not doing anything with it. And you go like that days, you give up on a launch, you give up on posting, you give up on being consistent. And at the end of the day, it's like, okay, let's get out of our mind for a little bit and let's just journal this through, right? What's the fear? What's the limiting belief here? Right? And sometimes it takes them talking through it, right, with my clients, and they're like, well, this is not working. I'm going to fail. It's happening. And by talking about it, it helps them to process their own things and really see. Sometimes it's just dumping out the emotions that we're feeling in that moment. And after that, we're able to see, I don't like this uncertainty, right? And it's like, okay, well, what's the uncertainty in this, and how can you take control over this? How can you take your power back? So at the end of the day, we can control the way we feel, the way we think, the way we show up, and the action we're going to take. At the end of the day, we can take control over that. And part of it is like, okay, let's journal this through, right? And that can help you to not stay stuck and not take the action that you need, or to take the action that you need in order to be able to move through. So if you are in business right now, well, obviously if you're here, you are. If you are experimenting hard seasons, meaning maybe sales are down, maybe you're trying to hit certain goals or income goals, you're trying to grow, or you're trying to adjust to the new algorithm things that are happening, just, if anything you can walk away from here today, is to remember that it's okay to feel the emotions, but at the same time, really look into the emotions and see, why do I feel this way? There, that could be a journal practice for you. Why do I feel fear? Why do I feel that I can't make this, right? And once you've done that, then ask the question, how can I change this outcome, right? If this algorithm thing's not working for me right now, or if my people are not buying right now right away, what are they telling me, right? What can I do different? Could be a question. And then that can lead you into action instead of staying stuck and processing, that idea over and over again. It's not working, it's not working, it's not working. It's going to paralyze you. Versus when you start really dissecting and really looking at your feelings and your emotions, it's going to put you in action mode, and it's going to take you into moving, because now you got to figure out, okay, so if this is not working, what is the audience telling me? What do I need to do? How can I go, and where do I need to make the adjustment? And by making the adjustment, you're moving through, taking the action, and at the end, you'll be able to see the results. So it's taking time. You don't need to push through and just like, I need to keep doing what I'm doing without, really looking into your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions. Because if you don't address that, then it's going to bleed into your business, and you won't be able to take the actions that you need to take as the CEO to be able to continue moving forward with the plan, to be able to see the results that you want. So it's really important to just really say, what you, just as simple as that. Why do I feel this today? Why, what's the evidence, right? What is my audience telling me? What do they need from me? And then what can I do to meet my audience, right? And then if it's still feeling heavy, what do I need, right? Because what the business needs and what you need are going to be two different things. But at the end of the day, we need to be able to make that separation. So here, let me do this. Let me take this journal, and you can just do it as simple as getting a notebook and really like just drawing a line and just saying, what do I need? And what does my business need? And then, sorry. And then like that, you can go ahead and really give your brain the space to go ahead and just really write down, right? What is it that you need, right? You might need some time to obviously journal. Maybe you need to relax, right? Because you're just feeling all these emotions charged. And now what does your business need? Well, the posts are not working. So if the posts are not working, quote unquote, then you need to go and what right question that. Why is it not working? And then go see why that post is not working, and see what your audience is telling you, and then come back and then see, okay, the next question is, what do I need to adjust? What do we need to change in order to move closer to our goal, right? And obviously, being in CEO mode and then switching to yourself, you're going to need probably to recharge. Probably you need a bubble bath afterwards. Probably you need a coffee break. Probably you need a nap after, you know, looking at your business and seeing what it needs. And then you can go ahead and put that down in your calendar. Okay, I'm going to take a nap. And this will help you keep moving. And the goal is, we want to keep moving no matter what. We want to keep taking the action. We want to move through, because this is the only way we can go ahead and keep growing and keep really building that self-trust. The more you do it, the more you're going to be like, oh, okay, this is just a hard season right now, and we're going to get through it. But this is the exercises that no matter where you're at in business, no matter how long you've been in business, no matter what experience you have, you're still going to have to go through at analyzing and really looking and really working that muscle of self-trust, and really leaning in into your CEO mindset as to like, okay, I can do this. We just need to look at what's going on and really shifting that instead of just really getting into your emotions as a person, and really just separating and doing that type of exercise can really help you have an action step to actually do it instead of just keeping it in your mind and letting it burn out. So, if you are watching the replay and you have any questions, feel free to drop them down below. I'll be more than happy to come back and be able to answer those questions. Any questions you have, whether that's a mindset question, a strategy question, or a profit question, be able to, leave it there, or anything you heard in this training, feel free to drop it there and I'll be more than happy to go ahead and talk to you and answer you and support you. And that's all I have for you guys today. I have to take off, but I look forward to seeing you again next week. And we can go ahead and talk about another business topic. And again, if you need any support, you can always leave your questions also in the group. And yeah, take care and have a great week, guys.